In the summer of 1518 in the city of Strasbourg, a woman walked out into the street and started dancing. No music, no celebration, no reason. She danced for 6 days straight. Then 30 more people joined her. Then 100. Then 400. People danced until their feet bled. Some danced until their hearts gave out. And the city government's solution? They hired musicians and built a stage because they thought the only cure for dancing was more dancing. This isn't a horror movie. This actually happened. And 500 years later, we still don't fully know why. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the strangest, best documented mass phenomena in human history, the dancing plague of 1518. This isn't folklore. This isn't an urban legend. We have city council records, physician notes, and sermon transcripts from the actual event. Real people, real deaths, real panic. And a mystery historians are still arguing about today. Stick around till the end, because the leading explanation is honestly more disturbing than anything supernatural. It starts in mid-July 1518 in the city of Strasbourg, back then part of the Holy Roman Empire, now in modern-day France. A woman named Frau Trophia steps out of her house and begins to dance in the street, alone, in silence. Her neighbors watch, confused. An hour passes, then a full day. She doesn't stop. She doesn't even seem to want to stop. Witnesses describe her as looking almost trance-like, dancing with an expression of pure exhaustion, but unable to control her own body. By the end of the first week, she's still going. Local physicians are called in, and this is the part that should shock you. The doctors of Strasbourg did not diagnose this as a mental or emotional breakdown. They diagnosed it as a physical disease, a fever of the blood, they called it, something that had to run its natural course. So what did the city do? Following the medical thinking of the time, they decided the cure was to let the sickness burn itself out. They opened up guild halls. They built a wooden stage in the marketplace. They hired professional musicians, drummers, pipers, to keep the rhythm going. The logic was, if people dance long enough and hard enough, the fever will break. It backfired catastrophically. Instead of curing anyone, the music and the public spectacle acted like a trigger. Within a month, historical records suggest anywhere from 50 to 400 people were dancing uncontrollably through the streets of Strasbourg. People collapsed from exhaustion, dehydration, and heart attacks. Contemporary accounts claim that at the peak of the outbreak, as many as 15 people were dying per day from the physical toll of nonstop dancing, though modern historians debate the exact numbers, since record-keeping in 1518 wasn't exactly rigorous. What we do know for certain, from surviving physician logs and city expense records, is that this went on for about 2 months before it finally faded. Now here's where it gets genuinely fascinating, because historians have proposed several theories, and none of them are fully satisfying on their own. Theory 1, ergot poisoning. Ergot is a toxic mold that grows on damp rye, and it can cause convulsions and hallucinations. It's actually the same fungus later linked to compounds similar to LSD. The problem? Ergot poisoning typically causes violent, uncoordinated spasms and gangrene from restricted blood flow. It doesn't usually produce sustained, rhythmic dancing that continues for days. So most historians consider this theory weak. Theory 2, and this is the one most historians favor today, mass psychogenic illness, sometimes called a stress-induced hysteria. And the context matters enormously here. 1518 Strasbourg was not a happy place. The region had just suffered severe famine, crop failures, smallpox and syphilis outbreaks, brutal taxation. People were, quite literally, dying of starvation in the streets. On top of that, the local religious belief was that a curse from Saint Vitus could force people to dance uncontrollably as divine punishment. So you have a population under extreme psychological stress, already primed to believe that uncontrollable dancing was a real, plausible curse. Historian John Waller, who studied this extensively, argues that when one person under that kind of trauma began dancing, others, already terrified of the same curse, literally danced themselves into the same trance-like state through pure psychological contagion. Belief itself became the mechanism of the outbreak. Here's the detail that makes this even creepier. Strasbourg wasn't an isolated incident. Historical records point to similar dancing manias occurring across Europe going back to at least the 7th century. And several more outbreaks happened in the following centuries in regions along the Rhine River. Strasbourg in 1518 is simply the largest and most thoroughly documented case, because by then cities kept much better written records, physician notes, treasury logs showing exactly how much was spent on musicians and the wooden stage, even sermons from priests trying to explain what was happening to their congregations. This is what separates the dancing plague from myth. We're not relying on one storyteller centuries later. We have contemporaneous, cross-referenced administrative documents from multiple independent sources, all describing the same event in the same city at the same time. It eventually ended when town officials, realizing the music and dancing cure was making things worse, banned public dancing and music altogether, and began transporting the afflicted to a mountain shrine dedicated to Saint Vitus for prayer-based rituals instead. Slowly, the outbreak faded. What gets me most about this story isn't the dancing itself. It's what it reveals about the human mind under extreme stress. These weren't people pretending. They weren't faking it for attention. By every account we have, they genuinely could not stop. Their belief in a curse combined with famine, disease, and psychological trauma was powerful enough to override conscious control of their own bodies, to the point where dancing literally killed people. It's a 500-year-old reminder that mass psychological phenomena are real, they're documented, and they can spread through belief alone without any virus, any poison, any curse at all. If you enjoyed this, let me know in the comments. Should we cover the great stink of London next, or the island where a nuclear test happened and nobody was evacuated? Both are just as real and just as strange. Subscribe if you want more true stories history tried to forget. See you in the next one.